Okay, so what is operating system? So operating system is very simple. It is nothing but a program. Operating system is nothing but a program which give interface for both user and interact with the hardware. So operating system, it operates your hardware and give interface for user. Okay, it interacts with your hardware and how to work with your hardware and all. So normal program like I'm using a WhatsApp here, or maybe a browser. Google browser is there, Putty is there, VMware is there, Excel sheet is there, Notepad is there, right? So this is a Notepad. These are all applications runs on operating system, and operating system interacts with your hardware and process all these kind of stuff. What are the application you are using? Okay, both input output information and application information process with your hardware, and it generate a output and it will show output on your screen. So that is the purpose of your operating system. It is generally it is a nothing but a simple program only. So if you see, it is a system software defined as an organized collection of software consist of processor of operating system a computer provide environment for execution of programs. So whenever you execute, like you want to execute a Java program or Python, or maybe or open a Notepad, or maybe you are giving a command, so who will give that environment? Operating system providing that environment. Okay, it will run your program. It interface between user and hardware of the computer. So understand basics of the what is operating system, that is first. Okay. So how it is interacts, here it is also given, written in user two ways: operating system commands and operating system calls. You must read all these things. Okay, so different type of operating systems also there. Okay, OS types also there. So I put a OS in capital letters. What are the operating system types? One is like SOS, simple operating system. Another one is NOS, network operating system. There is basically two types here defined. One is a simple operating system. Example of simple operating system we can see. No, no, it is not given here. Okay, it's simple. So examples of simple operating system is like Windows XP, or maybe a 7, or maybe a 8, or can be a 10, or maybe older versions. Okay, it's a simple operating system like a desktop operating system. DOS is one of the operating system. Okay, Microsoft DOS. You should not say it's a DOS. Okay, Ubuntu, desktop operating systems. These are all. Okay, another one is basic Linux. This also comes under simple operating system generally. Network operating systems. I'll put a OS. It is a already name. Okay, so network operating system. What is network operating system and simple operating system? Simply we can say, the if you are using a desktop, if you are using a desktop operating system like a Windows XP, Windows 95, Windows 10, these are all desktop operating system to operate, run some application, working on it, simple single task or multitask. You are working games, you are playing games, watching movies and all kind of stuff we can do with a desktop. So simple operating system means desktop operating system only. Okay, so that's why I written MS DOS separately than Windows, because Windows we are using here, DOS we are not using, but it is both comes under simple operating system only. Network operating system means server related operating system. Network operating system means server related operating system. Like what server will do? What server will do? You are accessing a website. It means it's a web server. You're downloading a file. It means FTP. You're accessing emails. SMTP server. Email server. You're accessing emails means email server. You're accessing a website means it's a web server. Okay. If you are getting setting with time, it's a NTP server. Okay. You are getting names, name to IP means when I open a website, So when I open some website, it is showing a name is there, right? So like this is a YouTube, or maybe I open last time, yeah, W3 schools. When I put a name, I will get IP address. Who will give? DNS server. I'm getting my system getting an IP address, right, from DHCP server. So these are all servers only. I store a data. I store a data in a server, storage server. Okay, I'm accessing the files from the file server. Okay, I connecting my remote PC using a VPN server. Okay, that is VPN server. Like these are all servers. The operating system which provide a service through network, we call it as a server. Okay, so the operating system which provide service through network, we call it as a server. So that server we call it as a, here that type of operating system we call it as a network operating system. Examples: Windows servers. Okay, so servers are from so many years. NT server is there, so I will put a caps here. Windows NT server, Windows 2000 server, 2003 server, okay, 2008 server, okay, 2008 R2 server, that is also there. 2012 R2, okay, and 2016 and 2019. This is 19 is the latest server, okay. So this is an entire list of Windows servers. Here I didn't write in everything, but if you write Windows 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so many things are there. 1, 2, 3. I as I remember, but I don't remember remaining. NT is also there. Windows NT Professional means it's a client PC also there. 97, 97 SC second edition, 98 Millennium edition. Okay, Millennium edition is there. 2000 Professional is there. Okay, so different came up, but Windows 10 is the latest. In Windows 10 also there are a lot of additional versions are there. They didn't change. Even last year, before last year, I think so. I check YouTube with what is futures of Windows 11. Windows 11 is not launched. Windows not launched. Any official or unofficial is also not there. So, okay. So it's a Windows 10 only. They keep on adding into the Windows 10. You can, once you buy Windows 10, you know to buy next one. No, not required. No need to think of it. So it's keep on running. Another one is Linux based operating systems. Linux and Unix is by default. Linux and Unix are a network operating system only. So because it's a itself, it's enterprise Linux is also there. Different organizations come up with enterprise Linux solutions. One is Red Hat Enterprise Linux. So when you say about Linux, you should not say Red Hat. It's a Red Hat Enterprise Linux only. Okay. Oracle Enterprise Linux. Of course, Oracle also launched its own Enterprise Linuxes also. CentOS is open, but it is not. You should not use CentOS in a real enterprises, but you can practice on a CentOS in a real enterprises, no problem. Okay. There is a supporting, not supporting issues are there, right? Yeah, you can use it. So it's just mm, it's like whatever the Red Hat Enterprise Linux features are there, same in Oracle Enterprise Linux, and CentOS is also there. CentOS is one organization contributed by a lot of people. SUSE, okay, SUSE, OpenSUSE, Divine. So there is so many flavors are there. Okay, but that is our. So this is a basic two type of operating system. But another way, by functionality, the different operating system also there. One is a simple, okay, single user, single task operating system. What is it? Single user, single task. Example is DOS or MS DOS, whatever you put it, DOS operating system. MS DOS, because DOS is no more. So MS-DOS is a Microsoft DOS. Okay. So single user, single task. At a time we can do only one task only. Next one is single user multitask. What is it? Single user, yeah, multitask. It means only one user is login, but we can do multiple things. Like I log in with single user, backend I have a backside. If you see that is PPT, okay, PowerPoint presentation, and this is Notepad, and also WhatsApp, my Outlook, VMware, everything is there here. Okay, so it is a Windows operating system. All Windows operating systems comes under this one only. So all Windows OS. Next, multi-user multitask is Linux and Unix operating system. Right here it is multitask MUL. Okay, these are examples of different operating systems: single user, single task, single user, multitask, multi-user, multitask. Okay, but whatever it is, if you say an operating system has a two parts. Okay, operating system always two parts. One part is called a kernel or kernel. The way of spell is different. Okay, kernel or a kernel. So we call I usually spell like a kernel, but a lot of people don't know sir, it is not kernel, it is kernel. Right, I see kernel in militaries, okay, military areas and all. Okay, kernel we call it as a normal, but you can check with the Google how to spell it. Next one is shell. Whatever the operating system you are dealing with it, okay, so it is as a two parts. One is kernel, another one is shell. Kernel interacts with your hardware, shell interacts with your user. Very simple. Let's say kernel is interact with your hardware. Okay, whenever you run a process, the kernel understand the process and it interacts with the hardware. Okay, so interacts with the hardware. Shell, whatever the shell is a user, interacts with a user. It provide a user interface. So shell basically provide user interface, whether it is CLI or GUI, whatever it is, it will give you a CL terminal to interact with it. Okay, you can give a commands in a shell, and shell will understand your command and run the command. It will convert into kernel understandable language. Okay, so kernel like a machine language. So okay, so it will convert into machine language. So in our school days or maybe start of your C++ time, we understand, right? C interprets C. When you write it, if you run the compiler, first it will compile the program and convert into machine understandable language, and the hardware will run the program, means your CPU run understand it, and once it's completed process, it generate output, so we'll see the output, right, like that. So it will convert into machine language. ASCII code and all kind of stuff is there, no? So it'll convert into ASCII code. It's a machine language, and it will understand, it will do it. So the kernel is actually handling your hardware. So here in the kernel, again, what it will manage, what kernel will manage, what is meant by hardware, what is meant by shell. So we'll see that one. Okay, so before going to that one, so I want to tell a story, is unique story, not unique story, just voice, a simple story. I am not good at with the dates and all, but you can try. Simple. we have a hardware earlier, and people are start understanding how to build a computer. They start building a computers only, it means hardware parts only, but they didn't build an operating system or an application. Every time you have to write your own code and we put it. Maybe you have an idea of microprocessors like 8085 or 8086. Maybe in your college you done this one, 8085 or 8086 programming, right? So whenever you have a uh, that processor, that box, we start typing some commands to give instruction for giving an instruction. So what we are doing, we start typing some. We have a cheat code and we put a using a cheat code, we are putting a some code, right? We have to write a program first, then only we have to implement the program on processor, and it will generate a output. Like I will give you some example. Move a comma 34. Okay, 3. Okay, so this is a, what is this? Anybody having an idea? Anybody having an idea like this one? There are so many things are there. Okay, anybody?
Sub mal microprocessor. Microprocessor. We are adding microprocessor chips. I think, sir.
Yeah, right, right. Microprocessor chips only. Correct. What is this? Do you remember? Lab? Forget.
Actually, move 3 to register A, then add 4
4
in
to
it.
3. A.
Then the data moves to register B.
Very good, very good. What it is? What is we are writing here? Spelling is correct?
Assembly level language.
Yeah, assemble language, right? So we are giving instruction using assemble language, right? So earlier days they started a programming operating system with the assemble language. Yeah, very good guys. You remember at least. Okay. So this is, when you go with the old one, you can able to recollect it very easily. So that's you can improve memory like that only. So lot of people give a concentration and all. I am not saying that one, simple. So just revise your old things. Link whatever the thing you see, link with what you learned earlier. Obviously, you can recollect everything. Okay, very good, very good. You remember entire programming also. You remember how to program that one. That's move a comma 3 means put a 3 into a is a, and add 4 to a. It becomes 7, and a value is 7 now. 7 put it into 3. That's a very good. That's called assemble language. First operating system built based on assemble language. Earlier, at a time program, real time program, that is called a, okay, real time operating system. There is a one type of operating system is there, that is called real time operating system. Means based on a current hardware situation, you have to program it. We have to write a operating system immediately. So where we use this one, you know um, we are using a computers this because it's a commercial, personal, and our utilized purpose only. But if you go to uh, these things like space related one, or maybe ISRO. Okay, so space related, ISRO, NASA, all these people. Okay, or maybe DRDO, research centers. So there is a new kind of machinery. Like our computer is different. The computers used in space stations, there are different. The computers used in DRDO or military research centers, there are different. Real time computers they are using. So their new hardware. So or maybe newly you created a new system. Obviously you have to write a real-time operating system. The operating system only dedicated to that PC only, so we are not using it. Okay, real-time operating system is also an operating system which we can implement immediately based on your hardware. Okay, so like a 8085 writing a program code little bit different from 8086. Like depends upon what microprocessor, what is your hardware, what is the interfaces are there, you have to write the program immediately. Okay, So that is there earlier. Later on days, so we have to make sure that people can able to use, because to use a computer I no need to be a programmer, right? I'm not a programmer, but I'm using an operating system, right? So like I no need to program my operating system. You are not also programming operating system, you are install operating system and using it. Okay, so for that purpose different operating systems are came up. One of the operating system is DOS, and further Microsoft taken it, it is become a MS DOS, and it implemented added a new features for a new hardware related one. Okay, so BSD, BSD is a one kind of operating system. Unix is another kind of operating system. So when they created a Unix, they use assemble language only. Assemble language only, right? Later they started Unix with the C language. Okay, they use a Unix with the C language, and they started building operating system C language. Okay, a lot of things are happening, but still, almost all operating system become more commercial. It means they are charging for operating system, and if you take operating system, but you cannot alter the operating system. So then, as a project, and there is a guy called Linus Torvald. What is his name? Linus Torvald came up. He's a engineering student also, but we are done engineering MTech PhDs, but we do nothing. Okay, I don't know how many people are really doing creating new things, but it's a good one. Like all Google people, Yahoo, Google, BlackBerry, and Linux. These are all from engineering students only, from universities only. Okay, so as a final projects, our final projects are done 100 years back projects only. Okay. Mm. So Linus Torvald came up. He took a Unix, some source code, some part of source code, and he created a Linux kernel. Okay, he actually didn't build a complete Linux. He built a Linux kernel, and he made that one as a open source. Okay, we made that one as a open source. Okay, well, what is a open source? Open source means the actual source code, what are the how you build a code, that entire code is available to everyone. Okay, he makes sure that it should be available to everyone, so then anybody can able to take open source and they can build a Linux operating system. So they can build an operating system, they can take the kernel, and that is open source, based on their hardware. Okay, based on their usage. Okay, so based on your hardware, so if you build a new hardware, or maybe based on your usage. Okay, what is the purpose of this one? Based on your usage. Okay, so you can build your own operating system. That is what he invented. He didn't invent complete shell kernel, so the proprietaries and all. He didn't take in anything. He built some Linux kernel, so using a Unix as a, so he took small part of source code Unix. Okay, part only. He took a only small part of a Unix source code, and he built a Linux kernel, and he made sure that it is a open source, so it is available for everyone. And based on your hardware and usage, utilization, interfaces, and all, so you can build your own operating system. Okay, so then a lot of people started taking this kernel and start building their own operating system. Some people make it as their own organization stamp. Okay, one is like a Red Hat. Red Hat is an organization which taken this Linux kernel and build their own operating system. Okay, of course, Oracle has also taken Linux kernel and build a Oracle Enterprise Linux. Fedora. So I'll type one by one here. Fedora, and Scientific Linux. This is also a Linux. That is one organization. You can see scientificlinux.org. Okay, these are the flavors of Linux. These are the flavors of Linux. So I don't want to give you a spelling mistake. That's why I'm typing like this. If you scroll down, also you can find Fedora, Ubuntu, Arc, Linux. So 15 more. OpenSUSE, Blacktrack, Divine, Bodhi Unix. So something new. Mint, Linux Mint also there, right? There's a new one is also there. This is Linux, Red Hat Enterprise, Airplane Linux, Mandriva Linux, Linux Mint. A lot of things are there. Okay, SUSE and also OpenSUSE. Two are there actually. OpenSUSE. So when you put in a small letters, then it is good. Then we put a small letters. OpenSUSE, Divine, whatever here. Divine, okay, Linux Mint, Ubuntu, Ubuntu or Ubuntu, right? Blacktrack. Blacktrack is not there now. Blacktrack is changed to Kali, which is usual for black hacking purpose. That we can call it as it's a cyber related one, cyber security related one. Okay, so it's a Kali Linux. Usually for hackers will use that one. You can download freely and you can go to some YouTube video. You can try to attack someone. I tried Blacktrack to how to hack a Facebook account. That is not much easy. Okay, you should take. I took genuinely one of my friend's Facebook. I send a link. He opened the link and he put it. Okay, so that's why when you see a links, some links like a shortcut links, some people send a message like click on this link and you will see what will wander. The link may have a any some information that once you open the link, and it shows some Gmail and you type a Gmail username password, he will get username and password. Transfer your 1 rupee and you will get 100 rupees. Click on this account, then you click on that account, you given your bank details and you transfer 1 rupee and he will take enter your account. Okay, so don't do that one. Okay, so be careful about that. Okay, so there are a lot of things are there, so I will put a etc. So these are the Linux flavors, guys. Again, I want to repeat a small part. Different operating system. One is a simple operating system, network operating system, and Linux is a multitask, multi-user type operating system. And operating systems are two types: kernel and shell type. Whether it is Windows, Linux, or Unix operating system, kernel interacts with your hardware and it manages your hardware. Okay, shell interacts with the user and provide a user interface, whether it is CLI, GUI, whatever it is. Operating systems, different operating system came up in earlier: DOS, BSD, Unix, and all. So they have a commercialized operating system, and we have to hire the person to use the operating system also. But people started with open source coding, and Linus Torvald taken a small part and he created a Linux. Actually, it is not Linux; it is a Linux. Linus Torvald, right? Linux, Unix, X. Like, see, this is a Linus Torvald. So Linux. So we can spell Linux or Linux, no problem. He created a kernel and made that one as a open source. And there is a license for this one also there, that is called G GNU. What is GNU? Anybody? GNU not Unix. It's not Unix. Okay, so GNU means GNU not Unix. So how it is become a like that. But GNU means GNU, it's not Unix, so it's a Linux. So you can take a kernel and you can build. So based on your hardware and your operating system. Okay, which is provided by GPL, General Public License. Okay, so it is a GPL means General Public License, which provide a licensing for your open source or any product. So the license by General Public License only. Okay, important point is based on your usage and all. So already I told one operating system called a real-time operating system, right? So you can use a Linux kernel and you can build your own operating system based on your hardware and all. Like it will make it is as a real-time operating system also. Okay, if you want to build a real-time operating system, you can take Linux kernel and you can build it. But different organizations came up and build a Linux with a direct product used by people. So like a commercial purpose or maybe a product, my product, like that. Okay, so different are there. One like a scientific Linux, Fedora. Actually, Fedora is not Fedora. Fedora project. We have to call Fedora project. Okay, Oracle, Red Hat, SUSE, OpenSUSE, Debian, Linux Mint, Ubuntu, BlackTrack, or so many things of Linux is uh, um, came into market. These are the Linux flavors. Okay, guys, anybody remember another what we are mostly Linux we are using, of course, which is by Linus Torvald. But another thing is also we are widely using, mainly CSE guys. So the programmers, mainly programmers. One tool we are using that is built by Linus Torvald only. Anybody having an idea? In software development, there is a tool. Currently, we are using that tool for a software development, which is built by Linus Torvald. That is very important because when you are go to the DevOps, first tool we learn the first tool we are learning that the tool which is developed by Linus Torvald only in DevOps. Anybody having idea? No idea? Achal Dushyant also completed. Very good. Salman. Okay. Anybody? Git. Anybody now recollect? I think some of you CSE guys and IT guys definitely they use Git without knowing Git how you done. You must integrate your coding, right? GitHub. The Git is developed by Linus Torvald. And whenever we hear the old names, we thought they are dead. Okay, Nikhil never here. Okay, good. Okay, Linus Torvald is still alive. Okay, so he is the person still alive. I think so. Born in no. So 51 years, still programming. Helsinki, Finland. Okay, Helsinki is in Finland. Now I know because there is a movie, right? Okay, so when I put that one, see it is GitHub.com. Torvald. 6 responses available. Yeah, GitHub directly Linux something. He given a few responses also. Very recently or very old. Okay. Source tree. This is a Linux source code he given directly. Okay. You can download that one and GitHub is by Linus Torvald only. Okay. So again I forget Linus Torvald. Mm, there is a speeches. Everybody do speeches where it is. No, not get. That is called guest, guest, guest. TEDx. TEDx. So this is a TEDx one. Okay. Okay. So this is a TEDx and very good. So he shows his room also here. This is his room. Also when we got and what is his problem also he told, right, and his friends. So if possible, watch it. I'm putting on your group also. Better to watch once at least. Okay, so TEDx is also a good one. So that is about your this one. So okay, this is a Linux flavors. Now next we will discuss about Linux features and kernel and type of shells also. Okay, now take a break. Back at 2:30 is the actual time, but sometimes it may be a 3 o'clock, right? So if I am ready by 2:30, I will tell you. We have a less time because it's already almost 1:20. Maybe I don't get much time by 2:30, but I will inform you if I am available. If I ready at 2:30, I will tell I'm 2:30. By 2:15, I will tell. Okay, and if I am late, then I will tell it's 2:30. The remaining theory also we'll see and we'll do practical. So meantime, guys, try to complete all the practical. Okay, so I'm going.